If you're thinking about moving and you want to learn about what everyday life is going to be like in your new town, this is the place for you. On Open House, we sit down with local, top producing real estate agents to help you find the best places to live in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So if you don't want buyer's remorse and you want to find your dream town, we are here for you. So go ahead and book a free call with us and we'll help guide you to the area that is right for you. Now, let's jump in and learn about your new home.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Open House. I'm Mike, and today we're going to be talking with Mark Laing, a local resident and expert in the Hamilton, Virginia, and Western Loudoun County area. We're going to be covering everything from homes to entertainment. So, Mark, thanks for coming on the show today. To kick things off, tell me, how long have you been in real estate?
My pleasure to be here. Thank you, Mike. I have actually on my 6th year in real estate, came from the corporate world, and decided to go into real estate back in 2017 and have loved it ever since.
Just what made you take the dive into real estate?
I really was worked for corporate for 35 years, so it was time to make that change and to take ownership of my schedule and what I really wanted to do. I did IT for so many years, and it was just a time of my life for a change, and my other love was real estate. So I explored the real estate market and got my license and never looked back. Should have done it 10 years sooner.
I feel like a lot of people end up in that position. Plus, they just simply the added freedom there. I'm sure it's a pretty big draw.
Very big draw.
And so when we're looking at the Hamilton and kind of Western Loudoun County area, what type of population are we looking at? Would you call this a suburban area, city area?
Very rural. Hamilton is a very rural, small town, America, hidden away in Loudoun County. It's probably maybe 2 miles long.
Mm-hmm.
As of the, I think, 2020 census, we had 708 people living in Hamilton. But what makes it so large is the outskirts of Loudoun County that surrounds the little town. So even though you're in Loudoun County, you may not be downtown Hamilton, but you have a Hamilton address.
Gotcha. Some people hear that population size and they're like, wow, that's really small. And someone like me personally, I hear that population size and I'm like, ooh, that sounds delightful.
Exactly. And it's so close to everything. I mean, literally, it is right we're 7 miles from Leesburg, Virginia. You're a mile and a half to Purcellville. So you can get all your shopping and grocery shopping nearby. There's no grocery store in Hamilton. So it consists of right now today of, I think, 2 restaurants, a coffee house, a post office, automotive, just very small hometown businesses that reside in the town of Hamilton. But you can go to the big box like Harris Teeter and Giant, nearby Purcellville and Leesburg, the outlet malls, etc.
And I think a lot of people are starting to put kind of a premium on their own kind of space and privacy, and being in a place like that where you have that almost comfort of solitude, but that you're city adjacent. Everything you do need, everything you want to do is right there. Be it Leesburg or even a slightly larger drive over to DC. All that stuff is kind of available to you, but you get to come home to your own little slice of peace and quiet.
Absolutely. Most of the people that live in Hamilton probably work for the federal government, or military bases. They travel to Reston, down to Herndon, Chantilly, Dulles Airport, which is literally about 20 miles from Hamilton, and then Washington, D.C., which is only 54 miles from downtown Hamilton. And now you've got the metro coming all the way out to Ashburn, which people will be able to connect on a ride there. But there's commuter lots and bus lots in Hamilton that you can connect to, and a lot of people take those instead of commuting by themselves.
I often find that you can kind of tell a lot about a place when it's the place that people are willing to commute from.
Yes.
The fact that people are going, you know what, I would rather live here and deal with that little commute than bother with all that big stuff, bother with the city and things like that. It's like those places are normally, to me, kind of the best finds, because I mean, honestly, there's a catharsis you get in a small town like that you're just not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And I moved from Sterling originally, so I went from the eastern side of Loudoun County out to western, and it's a night and day change, and the pace of life is so much more enjoyable. You've got your privacy, you've got neighbors, you get to know people. So it was a life changing for me when I moved there back in 2005. But it was, to this day, it has been the same. We've got more homes and subdivisions, but it's still, the town of Hamilton has remained the same.
So what would you say the median home price in the area is?
The median home price in the Hamilton area is running probably around $750,000. But you're going to have from old homes, older historical homes. If you go downtown Hamilton, most of the main road there is going to be older homes. You won't really see a lot of newer homes on the main strip. It's just when you make a right or a left into these other subdivisions, you'll start seeing some other larger homes that range in the midst of $1 million up to $2 million, $3 million. But they're also on acreage and larger amenities there.
Yeah, and that all kind of goes back to what people are putting a premium on now. And you see that reflected in the home prices of an area. It's also nice that there is, it sounds like, a pretty diverse section of different types of homes as well, be it your historic homes, your more modern contemporary, recently built subdivisions and things like that.
Correct. And there's one little small townhome community there. Not many townhomes. They're mostly going to be single family homes. A lot of them are family owned for many, many, many years. Just from the nature over there. And there's farms. So a lot of those farms in Hamilton, for example, where I live, was a farm, and it was converted with a developer, and they put 17 homes on it. So unfortunately, that's the sad part about the dwellings that are going up, but at least they are, Loudoun County does have rules and regulations on lot sizes and how large they have to be, and how they subdivide that up. So.
Yeah, that's always nice when those restrictions are kind of put in place preemptively. It does a good job of keeping that expansion from just running roughshod, especially when you're in an area that's close to larger cities. You can see some places where the developments come in just hot and heavy, and then all of a sudden it's that the town has kind of lost the entire feel for what it was.
Absolutely. And that's something that I don't think Hamilton, even Purcellville, which is very close nearby, they've actually put a halt, or they just didn't entertain and seriously consider the big box retailers. So you're not going to see a Home Depot or a Lowe's out there. However, Leesburg has it. It's 7 miles away. So you're just not going to find that big box retailer there in Hamilton or Purcellville, other than maybe a grocery store. Yeah. It's very family oriented, community oriented, and community focused, which I actually adore. Yeah, I never thought I would live in Hamilton, but it was one of the best places I've ever lived.
It's definitely one of those things where you can start to really assign a lot of value to the fact that you know your neighbors, you know all these people,
Yeah.
That kind of goes towards the whole dynamic of an area.
Yeah, everybody looks out for each other. So, when, out of 17 homes in the community I lived in, it's, if someone was out, there was always someone working from home or night shift or whatever. And we kind of kept an eye on everybody, not in a nosy way, but just neighborly. And that's what was so enjoyable.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we're going on vacation, and you can let all your neighbors know, and they go, okay, we'll make sure everything's on the up and up, we'll keep an eye out for you. It's that type of communal interaction that just you don't necessarily get everywhere.
You're right, exactly.
Now, another thing I know people, and this is something that younger me wouldn't have really processed, but older me completely understands, is another factor when people are making the decisions about where to live and where to go is the schools in an area. People put a lot of emphasis on finding good places for their children to get education.
Yeah.
So what's that look like?
So Loudoun County has been pretty well known for an excellent school system. With my clients, I always refer them to go check out the grades of the schools within Loudoun County and the specifics. So I send them over to niche.com or I send them over to greatschools.org. It's better to provide that information to my clients in a real estate market so that they can actually get factual data based on surveys. But Loudoun County is a well-known county. It's one of the richest counties in the United States. So there's a lot of money that goes into the school systems here.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, as the realtor, you end up being a pretty good advocate for your clients there in the sense that, you want them to get all that information and make as informed a decision as they can.
Correct. That's our goal as real estate agents, is to make sure that we educate our buyers and our sellers. And there's so much information out there that we think we kind of know where it is and where to go, but you'd be quite surprised on how much information I do provide to the clients and to get good source and good factual information.
It's one of those things where it's incredibly difficult to know what you don't know. And when it comes to real estate and all of the ins and outs that go into buying a home, having been through it a couple times, I realized very quickly, like, oh, I don't even know what I don't know. I need someone who knows what they should know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So when it comes to the entertainment side, we're obviously going to be in a small town with a small town vibe. You said a couple of restaurants there. So I would imagine when it comes to that type of stuff, that's going to be something where you're dependent upon your local areas, your Leesburg and such to have that type of experience.
Yes. There's two great restaurants there in Hamilton. One's very well known. It's Lowry's Crab Shack. You ride by that place, you see people out eating crabs, and they have a lot of seafood, but they're known for their crabs. During the summer, it's great to see people there, and it's a family-owned operation. The other one used to be called the Beautiful South. It's now called the Hamilton Station Gastropub. Again, family-owned and operated. So we like to support. I like to support locals as well. But Purcellville's just not too far up the road. If you want a Chipotle, you can go get Chipotle up in Leesburg. Up in Purcellville. And Leesburg has a variety of food downtown Leesburg. It's an amazing county, and you're only 6 to 7 miles away. Other entertainment is you're probably about 5 to 10 minute drive to about 20 wineries within Hamilton. So and those are huge, and distilleries and even breweries. So if you want to go and have lunch at the vineyard, just go pack a lunch and order some local wine, and it's just an amazing feeling and sense of ownership and community.
And this is one of those things that we all have our preconceived notions, and I will say that I was definitely in the camp that had a very preconceived notion as it pertained to wine coming out of Virginia, because in my mind it's like, well, it doesn't say Napa or Sonoma or Italy, like it doesn't have any of the buzzwords I think I'm supposed to know. But then you try some Virginia wine, it's like, oh, okay. Like I was genuinely surprised. And then that was another thing that I discovered, who doesn't live incredibly far from there. It was just all of these vineyards, all that experience, all that scenic, you go for a day and take it in type stuff. I kind of didn't realize was right next door the entire time.
Yeah. And they're very popular, and it's a lot for family as well. There's things there for the kids to do. Drink responsible is what I tell everybody. The vineyards, it's just a relaxed setting, and most of them will have, you know, a band or a single guitar player there singing. It's great entertainment, and it's you know, very inexpensive.
And it's definitely one of those things where I feel like food, beverage, all that stuff, I think it genuinely tastes better when I know that I'm supporting someone in my community.
Yep.
It's, you know, there's that sense of, I don't know if it's pride or something to that extent, where it's like I enjoy knowing that they're supporting me by giving me a bunch of wine and some sandwiches at a bistro, and I'm
Yep.
supporting them in doing what they love to do.
Right, and you're keeping it within your county and within your state, which is actually nice. I had the same perceptions you did, Mike, when it doesn't say Napa on it, or France or Paris or somewhere like that. But it did take us a while to get there. But Virginia is actually hit up on they've got some great awards.
Oh yeah, I read some articles basically about the soil composition
Yeah.
that is ostensibly very close to that which you would see in like your Northern California areas, your Napa and your Sonomas, which is why once they kind of figured it out, and there was that beginning where things was like, we don't really know what we're doing, but we're heading in the right direction. And then
Right.
now they're really popping out some good stuff, which is great to have right there, and normally when it comes to alcohol, it's tough to support local, but in this case, you can.
You can, absolutely.
So is there any other large, local events that go on in the area, or is that primarily going to be in your outskirts in your larger areas?
Well, they do have a couple events there in Hamilton. They usually have, I think it's in the early May timeframe. It's called Hamilton Day. So it's really, celebrating Hamilton. They sometimes do a parade. They'll do a 5K run. But they usually host that event at the Hamilton Park. So they wanted to make it a very family-oriented event, which is very, very nice. The other thing that you have so close within Hamilton is the W&OD bike path. It literally goes from Purcellville through Hamilton all the way down to Washington, D.C. So if you like to ride bikes, you like to run, it goes right through from Hamilton down to Peony and Springs to Leesburg, all the way to Ashburn, Reston, all the way down to Washington, D.C. Almost up to Mount Vernon.
It's another thing that I kind of didn't realize was right there when it comes to the, all of your outdoorsy stuff, your trails. You've got lakes not far from you, rivers and such, and some really great mountainous terrain if you're into hiking. All that stuff is right there. And like I said, it was very strange for me to find all this stuff in Virginia.
Yeah. You've got the Blue Ridge Mountains, you've got the Appalachian Trail. I mean, a lot of people do a lot of hiking up there as well. But everything's within, I have to say, you can get to where you want to go, usually within 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what you want to do. If you would do a winery, a brewery, etc. If you want to go downtown DC, 54 miles. Take the Greenway. It's a little expensive, but you can take Route 7. There's multiple ways to get to where you're going.
Yeah. And it's all there, right available to you.
Yeah, right at your fingertips. Yep.
If you could give a singular piece of advice to someone looking to buy in that area, what do you think that advice would be?
I would say contact me, contact a local realtor that actually knows that area. There's a lot of things in the Western Loudoun County that maybe a lot of agents don't work with, and that is well in septics, or equestrian properties, or farms, or conservation land. So you want somebody that can guide you in the right direction of what you're looking for. And if you're looking to build, it's a little bit difficult in Western Loudoun because there's so many properties that are in a conservation easement, and that is to protect what we have there so that big developers can't come in and take that land away. Once it's in conservation, it's in conservation. It's to save the land. Yeah. So get with it, just with any area that you're looking to buy in. You really want a local agent that's got the expertise and representation for that location, you really need that.
Yeah, it's something that is undervalued a lot when you first start this type of experience, and suddenly life catches up to you very quick, and you realize, like, not only do I genuinely just need an agent, but you're also looking for an agent who can be a good advocate for you. You know, there's a
Yes.
lot of circumstances when you're looking for a home and you have your list of 100 things that you really want, and maybe you're only going to get 80% of those things, but 80% is very good, and you're looking for an agent who's prioritizing for you, who's looking for the same stuff that they know that you're interested in, and it's it makes it a much more relaxing, not relaxing, buying a home is never going to be relaxing,
Less stressful.
Less stressful is, yeah, a less stressful experience on the whole. And another thing I tell people is take a vacation. I don't think it's something that people really do, but I think it would genuinely help with a lot of these processes. Is spend some time, take a week, go vacation in a place you're thinking about moving to, and familiarize yourself with it. Feel what the surroundings like, what it's like in that area. Get to know some of the people, and I think that generally makes for a much more smoother transition into looking.
Yep, absolutely. Check it out. I mean, just don't go on a whim. So you need to understand that. Now, I will say, in that being the case, there is no hotel or motel in Percival or in Hamilton. So if you're looking for one, you're going to be in Leesburg most likely. But again, Leesburg has a lot to offer as well. And you should check it out, because that's where you would be probably coming to and from when you want to go out on date night, or take the kids to a park, or go shopping at the outlet malls. You know, Leesburg's a great location, and you can just explore west.
I'd like to thank you for being here today, Mark, and answering these questions to give us a feel what it's like to be in the area. If you're interested in moving to the Hamilton, Virginia area, then please see Mark's contact information below the video. Get in contact with him, and I'm sure he'll facilitate a very smooth transition into your next home buying experience. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Michael.